The boy Dub Deuce in the building.
All right, what up, what up, what up? It is that guy Dub, and I'm back with another video. How you guys doing? At the end of the day, shout it, I'm good money. And today, we've got a special guest, one of the elites in the city of Atlanta, Mr. Bernard Love. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother?
Man,
Thank you for
chilling,
having
man.
me.
He's pleasure's all mine. How you doing?
Man, I can't complain. I'm blessed, alive, highly favored.
That's awesome. Now you said we're gonna kick it off with, I guess, with some current events right now. Everybody's still talking about this Keke Palmer thing. I want to definitely want to tap in, pick your brain about that little situation. Where you sitting with that?
Man, I mean, no, Kiki's always been an Usher fan,
Mhm.
and it was crowd participation. I mean, she's an actress, talented lady, so I think she was just, in the moment and enjoying herself. I mean, Usher's always had all the girls crazy forever since I was in middle school. So it is kind of what it is, and I think her baby father or her partner or whatnot probably felt some type of way. I mean, he's not in the spotlight. He's not that famous. So he might have been in his feelings, but I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding on both of their part.
Well, you said to me where I stand, it was like cardinal rule number one. You said, especially you said when you have a lady, whatever, you protect them in public, but uh, you chastise them in private. I
Correct.
think him going to social media with it made him look like a clown. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, for me, I never heard her say that all I know is that the father for her baby father. I never heard her say that was her boyfriend. It was just co-parent and whatnot. And it's not like they're married.
I
So
mean,
I don't know their situation, but it is what it is. She did it, so she grown. You
right?
know,
But okay, like on the flip side of that, you saying everybody's been bringing back up this Janet Jackson situation when she was bringing fans up on stage and doing the full grind and lap dance and stuff like that. Now, had the roles been reversed, the flip side, would women have that same energy that they have about Kiki, about you saying a dude being grinded on by Janet Jackson?
probably not.
Do you think that plays to you saying like the role of a lot of women don't feel like, especially in today's time, that they cannot accept accountability, like being called out?
Well, for me, it's a slippery slope. So we're talking about Usher Raymond. We're not talking about no regular Schmojo down the street at the nightclub. You're talking about one of the biggest superstars who's been relevant since most of us were in elementary school.
I mean, that's
So
true.
I think as part of the show, it just kind of depends on the person. Kiki's always posted videos of her singing Usher songs and being a fan of Usher, and the new guy is new. So she probably just caught up in the moment, and of course, she's embracing this new. The baby has done her good because she's kind of stepped into her grown woman and looks absolutely immaculate. So she probably kind of feeling herself. But I do feel like I'm sure that's a conversation her and the guy had, and I do think he was kind of out of pocket for going to social media. Like, who does that? Like, people, the new generation is so quick to go to social media and stuff like that.
Facts. You just like now people that don't know your background. It's like I've worked with you before when you did a iconic fashion show and you had me perform and everything like that. So how did you get your start in fashion? Because like we were talking about, because everybody's also talking about her dress and was it particularly appropriate to be wearing outside or what have you? What got you into fashion and you correlating to the Kiki Palmer? Do you think certain things like that are appropriate to wear when you do have a supposed man at home?
Well, I got my start in fashion kind of just kind of on the whim. Like, I've always been super creative and or whatnot, and a magazine in Atlanta, B Magazine, gave me the opportunity to kind of do a editorial back in like 2013. I had just did the BET Hip Hop Awards in Atlanta, red carpet for Apartment K. Shout out Apartment K, who gave me my start. But nonetheless, B Magazine was like, look, yeah, we'll give you opportunities to come up with a concept, and that's when I came up with the hip hop style issue. And I had reached out, mind you, didn't know anything other than the fact I was creative and the fact that I can put together a team. So I reached out to Rich Homie Quan's people to say, hey, I got this idea. Some type of way had just kind of came out, and he was kind of hot, and so I just reached out to them, and it was like, cool, let's run it. Same thing. I reached out to Trinidad James Camp. Jacquees had just came out. He was just came out with like the Q Mix. when I reached out to Rich Homie Quan, his manager, Jacquees' manager, was like, "Yo, I got this new artist, you know," and I had already been a fan of Jacquees. I was like, "Okay, cool." So that was kind of my start. I kind of just believed in myself. I hit up some of my friends. All of us were kind of new to the game, and my homeboy let us use his studio, and I just took that and ran with it. So that was kind of my start into fashion. So that was like 2013. So I had Rich Homie Quan, Trinidad James, Jacquees, rest in peace, Speaker Knockers. I worked with him for a good year before he passed. He actually passed the day before my birthday the next year. But yeah, I got to work with Forte Bowie, Dirt, Scotty ATL. So I was blessed that my first time in the fashion realm was kind of, you know, a big hype moment because Trinidad James had all gold everything like on the radio and stuff. So
and that was doing numbers.
yeah. So after that, I linked with Antonio Brown, who owned Level 13. He gifted me shoes for my shoot. He sent over shoes. Didn't even meet him, but he kind of understood the dream. So he sent over shoes for my shoot, and then after that, I became creative director with his clothing brand and did his events. And so that led me to kind of stay consistent in fashion. And then I eventually got to New York Fashion Week.
That is awesome. You said like now you said like, we'll go back to the Keke Palmer thing in a second, but I wanted to touch on because Atlanta Fashion Week is you have to be there to know what it's about.
Yeah.
You said so like what's the vibe between a New York Fashion Week and an Atlanta Fashion Week?
Oh wow, it's a big difference between Atlanta Fashion Week is way, you know, Atlanta's just a real chill town. So it's a lot, they highlight a lot of upcoming designers, upcoming models and stuff. It's not as high strong as New York Fashion Week. New York Fashion Week is just it's the Super Bowl of fashion weeks or whatnot. I can remember literally being in Manhattan for like 3 weeks. And that week of, I probably stayed up for 4 days straight until after the show. And it's very, very high power. Like we did Pier 59 Studios. We were expecting the 300 people. We had 800 people, and we couldn't even let everybody in. So it was like chaotic. But definitely highlight of my career.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Now you said when you look at these fashion weeks, I mean, you get some eclectic styles using that people are coming up with. You know, saying like you see like a Yeezy show using like and like to me, I'm not one to hate on anybody's use ideas, but to me it looks like you saying like homeless people clothes. But but then you see like some of the other brands and it's like well they're taking dresses and putting them upside down and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know, it's like how do you say like if you like let's say that you're involved in a red carpet event or a runway event and you don't necessarily like the idea that the particular designer is putting forth, but you said want to you said put on a good show and show support. How do you go about that, even though you don't necessarily believe in their particular ideas?
Well, if it comes to like the clothing, I mean, I worked with designers where some pieces I didn't like, but it is what it is. Everything isn't for me. My job is to make it work, make the vision work best way possible. I think having a good relationship with the designer, and the people who are part of the show, usually helps. But a lot of times in my position, most people when it comes to me, they kind of let me have free range to do what I need to creatively. I mean, that's kind of what I do. You know, I'm a creative director. So yeah, there's really never just been a big of an issue. I'll kind of put something, you know, I'll kind of try to make it work or whatnot. But a lot of times I'll get the designer or whatnot to sell me their vision and make me see it. And I try my best to make that happen.
Okay, well, like in every industry, you have your prima donnas. How do you specifically deal with prima donnas, like especially when because the day of it, that's when their real feelings come out. So how do you specifically deal with prima donnas?
Man, I've probably only had to deal with. I've only had that incident maybe once or twice ever, and it was from a rapper.
What?
Yeah. Honestly, it's true. So I don't never really just have that issue because I'm pretty easy to work with, but I'm extremely thorough on what's expected, and I'm always available for questions and explain things. And I can sense when people are nervous or when people may have a attitude, or sometimes people just you need to assure people that they cool and they doing right and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't really, I can say even with the models and stuff like that, I just never had bad situations with people or whatnot, except for one rapper.
Wow. Okay, you said now we just had the BET awards. You said a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
there's been a lot of talk online about, you said, the red carpet and what some of these people showed up in. You
Yeah.
said, like, what was your take on some of the fashion from the 2023 BET Awards?
Uh, I mean, I will say that it's just different. I think the times are just different. Growing up watching the BT Awards when I was in like high school and early college days, you saw, Janet Jackson and Beyonce, and the ladies were just fully clothed and beautiful and dressed and stuff like that. And then I think everything's over the years have become a little bit more sexualized, um,
Mhm.
and more, free spirited, I guess you would say. So that's kind of, I guess, the BET Awards has turned into that, because I think, like, with the Grammys isn't like the Oscars. Like, the Grammys is more so flashy, show your personality and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of where we at. Uh, I like the fact everybody's individualized, but I also feel like we need to keep a realm of black excellence. If it's supposed to be black tied, let's be black tied.
Mhm.
I don't mind females. I mean, if you got the body, show your body or whatnot. I mean, you're grown, you do your thing. And, I think that's just something I don't police as far as females or women or what they wear. But I do think that we could step up the classiness just a little bit.
You said, okay, now as a, creative director, you said that they suffered a problem, at the BET Awards, because it's a writer strike going on.
Yes.
And so there was no host. It was pretty much just fly by the seat of your
When-
pants type of deal. So, like, you being that particular situation, how would you have conducted yourself to still try to put on a great show?
Well, I would say that I think they did a good job with all the different performances and stuff like that, incorporating the different regions of music. I mean, that's pretty much all you can do. Unfortunately, the writer's strike is affecting a lot of things, and then the actors just went on strike. The SAG just went on strike like today or yesterday,
Mhm.
so it's going to affect a lot of things. But I think most importantly, it'll bring into perspective how important writers are. I mean, I went to school. That's my background. I went to school for English with a concentration in creative writing. So writing is the precipice of everything. It starts everything. So I feel like the thing about it is people now realize how important it is to have writers and how they've been overlooked, and nothing can go on smoothly without the writers and stuff, and it's much needed.
I mean, it's just one of those type of things, because we have this every few years where the writers are going on strike. Because you remember, like, I think it was like right before the 2008 presidential election, where everybody's hyped about Barack Obama and everything like that. But then, like, all of our TV shows that we would watch, that you said, and it was almost like going hand in hand, because when they went on strike, more people started paying attention to politics because all the shows started sucking.
Yep.
You see? So, and it's like,
Well, that might be the reason for the strike. We got to pay attention to what's going on with these.
I mean, hey, we might be jumping into some conspiracy theories right there, but you never know.
Yeah.
It's like, with all of these creatives, you know what I'm saying, like, because you see it all the time. You said we have money to put. You said, I guess $250 million for a Little Mermaid remake or whatever. And stuff like that. And half of that budget is just for CGI.
Yes.
You said, but, like, how can these people, like, not want to pay these creatives for stuff that you said that's going to be great? You know what I mean, or could
Man,
be great.
I don't even know. I would say this as a black creative, support black creatives. As a black creative, I've seen
Absolutely.
firsthand. I would love to just be able to write, but writing don't really just pay the bills. And unfortunately, I could write a script, and the script can go on to make millions of dollars or win Oscar. When you win your awards, but you just never know. I I will say that in my career, I've probably only been paid fairly for writing maybe one time. I wrote for a short TV series. I wrote a couple of episodes, and I got paid pretty nice for that. But any other time, yeah, it's very much, it's almost just like a little hobby.
Mhm.
And I don't understand that, because you will not have a show without the writer. There's no dialogue. There's no scenes there. I mean, the writer is the brain, is the operator, and the writer is usually always pretty much overlooked. And one of the down part about being a writer, all writers I know are so passionate about it. Like, we write for kicks. So we kind of let the whole not getting paid fairly slide, because it's our art. We're like, okay, we getting something. I've purged this thing that I wanted to do. So now when we get into the situation where you got AI and stuff like that, that's a big thing. And, I think that I know for a fact that it'll come together, but I hope it comes together sooner than later, because I have tons of friends that's in the GGA and SAG actors and stuff like that. it's already a inflation and a hard economy. So I definitely think people should be paid for their talent.
Right. Well, you said like I'm gonna have to probably add this clip in later, but there's a woman I can't remember her name because you saying I forgot it, but she's actually the person who actually wrote the Terminator and the Matrix and had both of her scripts stolen from her. She just got you sent her just due you sent here recently.
Absolutely.
You just like I said, I'll enter it in or I'll put it down in the description box down below about this woman because she's a phenomenal woman. She you said wrote the Terminator and the Matrix exquisite scripts. And how often do you think that happens in like Hollywood where people's work is being stolen from them? They have to used to prove used to for years and years that it was actually their content.
I will tell you this. Sophia Stewart is who you're talking about.
Thank you.
I would tell you this that and from a black creative prospect, I've seen my ideas and concepts kind of rematch. I don't want to get in trouble for saying this, but I did, for instance, my New York Fashion Week show, it was spring, summer, it was in September 2016, Pier 59 Studios in Manhattan. And I did this concept where I had the models come out in black suits and we were showcasing shoes. So I had them come out in black, head to toe, covered in black with these cool helmets and just shoes and stuff like that. And it wowed everybody. And then the next season, one big, super big designer kind of redid the entire concept. And so it was just, I didn't realize it till I had 2 or 3 fashion friends was like, yo, did you see? Let me send you this video. Such and such kind of did a show like yours. And I was taken because I was like, wow, damn, this is my stuff. But then I kind of felt like, okay, that's dope. Somebody would think that my stuff was dope enough to kind of redo it. So I guess as a black creative, you kind of get numb to it to an extent, but it happens way more than often. Yeah. Absolutely. I hadn't had no script stolen yet, but usually my visuals are pretty cool. So people do. I've seen my stuff kind of copied or gimmick, but I was inspired by Hype Williams. Like if you look at a lot of my music videos, you'll be able to tell that I was inspired by Hype Williams. I studied him and stuff like that. So I definitely pay homage to him with my lighting and some of my use of the fisheye lens and stuff like that.
Well, you said, well, speaking of that, because you said like it's all about branding. You know what I'm saying? It's all about like when you was just mentioning Hype Williams. We don't see that level of you know what I'm saying particularness. You know what I'm saying like you said when it comes to these music videos. I mean, you got some cool little effects but I can do that with Wondershare Filmora. But you know what I'm saying it's like there's not like a lot of passion or a lot of thought put into these videos anymore. You know what I mean?
No story.
Exactly. There's no storytelling. There's no storyboarding or anything like this. It's just slapped together. You know what I'm saying? It's like, have we gotten so you saying removed because of social media and we're just trying to get something up so fast that you said we take out the passion in the project just to get some content out?
I think that's absolutely correct. I mean, I don't even do as many music videos as I used to, just because it's so popcorn and bubblegum and like I could do a video, like say for instance like a Young Nudie video or a Skipper the Flipper video. All the videos we did, I'm not really big on CGI. I like to tell a story and put some stuff into it. And so with that being said, it's not, I can't do a video for $500 or $1,000. I need to do it correct. You have the right lighting, the right team and stuff like that. People don't want to spend that type of money on that type of stuff unless you're a big name artist who thrives on music videos. But everything is so bubblegum and quick. Let's get this on TikTok. Let's get a TikTok challenge going and let's keep it moving. Hopefully, I think that if like with Tyler Perry getting BT, if we could bring back like music video shows, I think that will up the ante. But for now, everybody's just trying to get them views and TikToks and stuff on Instagram. So
absolutely. But speaking of you talking about music shows, I've been seeing it. I don't know how true it is. I got to do some more research on it. They're talking about bringing 106 in Park back.
Yeah, that would be.
Yes, I think that would be an awesome thing to do.
Growing up, I remember watching music videos when I was younger, and I used to be like, it would be dope to have a video, one day or something like that, not knowing. And as I got older, they started getting rid of 106 and Park and stuff like that. But I will say, I did get to see one of my videos on MTV2. It was like 3:00 in the morning when they played the hip hop videos, and they played Young Nudie's Yeah Yeah video, and so that was kind of like a full circle moment to see my name on the screen on MTV. I felt like I made it for a little bit.
Like I can't even lie to you. Just like when you guys had me do the iconic fashion show, and just like all them people that was there, and just I had to put I wear glasses regularly, but I had to put on sunglasses because you said it was like it was almost like a surreal moment. And then like people was like vibing to me, so like that was almost like the same thing you just explained. It was like man, I think about that show all the time, which is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on. Just like
Oh yeah, man.
I mean that was so cool, back in then. I wanted to give y'all flowers and thank y'all for letting me, saying you'll
Man,
get down back in the day.
absolutely. We got on down.
Yes, sir. And it was
That was
just
that was a very fun day too, though.
yes, it was. And we like and then like we was at Piedmont Park, right?
Yeah, one part.
And it just like I can't remember the name of the building, but it's like the view outside the window behind you.
Oh,
Like, oh my God, that was beautiful.
absolutely.
It's like I remember just in the rehearsals and everything like that. It was like y'all really took that serious. I was like, and that was my first time experiencing like that. Usually, like, is that something that you've always been into, like the details where you're going to dance studios and rehearsing a
Oh yeah,
fashion show? You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
I've been like that since high school. I mean, in high school, I was a captain of the track team and football. I played football, defensive lineman. So I've always been kind of a perfectionist as far as practicing. Because if you practice when it's time to go, it's just time to go. And then also being in student council, I put together the proms, the homecomings. I've always just been super creative. Like my parents instilled that creativity into me. My mother and father kind of made me once they saw I was creative at a young age, it was very much let's pour into that creativity. So yeah, I've always kind of been blessed with leadership, but the creativity to put things together. I love to see the excitement people have when they see something I created. Like if I do a show, I'll stand back and just watch people, awes. Or if I have a dope video I drop, I love to read the comments of people saying how dope it is and stuff like that. It just really excites me.
Okay, well, you think like segueing from that because you just mentioned comments. And they say one thing I always try to do on my show is teach the children something, and especially in the social media space where we got a lot of kids that cannot handle the comment section.
Yeah.
You sitting there like, if you were speaking to kids right now, and like, and what would you tell them about dealing with the comment section to where they potentially do not take it to heart? You know what I mean?
Well, I think I can't really. I think for me, I have a little tougher skin because I've been doing this for a while, and I take constructive criticism well. I mean, not to say I know my shit dope. Period. Point blank. It might not
Right.
be a cup of tea or whatnot, but I want to know. It doesn't. I like to look at to see what people like, what people don't like, what people catch. I mean, honestly, truthfully, nothing. I've never. It just really comments don't really just bother me because I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the positive ones because they're out there. I'm looking for the hey, this is dope, but it would have been dope had he did this. I look for the constructive criticism because at the end of the day, people are haters. People are miserable. So I don't put no focus or energy into that.
Right. You said one thing I try to teach you said when it comes to you with my platform is like at the end of the day, like yes, it might hurt your feelings for a second, but you got to understand 9 times out of 10, a comment is projection anyway.
Yeah,
So 9 times out of 10, whatever mean comment they sent you, you said they still got to go back to their miserable life
yeah,
after they hit send on the comment. So you said like you could take some as constructive criticism, but other ones you just got to take with a grain of salt and keep it
absolutely.
moving.
Yeah. Now I don't sit around and ponder on comments, but I'll catch a comment. I'll catch comments every now and then on my video, like Young Nudies, yeah, yeah video, and Skipper the Flippers, Don't Play Me video, and Too Much Money video. Those like my three highest viewed videos.
Mhm.
They still kind of like Young Nudie video just hit 23 million last week, so it's
Oh,
still.
wow.
Yeah, it's still getting. I go to check it out and be like, oh wow, just see comments and stuff like that, and what people like. And then I love when people can tell, like, oh, this reminds me of Hype Williams, or this reminds me of somebody I studied because I studied. I'm self-taught as far as films, so I studied Hype Williams and Brian De Palma and Wes Craven and Spike Lee. So I like to see that they see the homage in my work.
Right. Now, you said right now we're in a time where you said remakes are prevalent. Let's just call it that. You just say now, like, where did it land with you when you heard about I guess the new Little Mermaid? You said remake, and you just the vitriol that was oh my god in the comment section. That was such vitriol, just ugliness in the comments. How did that hit you?
it didn't hit me no way. I mean, like expected. We're in the United States of America. They've always. I mean, I went to an all-white college. I grew up in Mississippi, so I'm used to the racism. I'm used to the naysayers. I will say that I feel like it's unfortunate that we have to do so many remakes and reboots when there are so many. I have 3 scripts right now that can go that I know would probably pop, but
Right.
people are they want to play it safe because they feel that okay, this project already has a fan base, so let's extrapolate on that and kind of open it up to more people. When you can, they could have spent that money and did 3 or 4 brand new projects that would have been just as good. So I'm not the biggest fan of remake reboots, especially when most of the stuff they remake and reboot were classics. Like
Yeah.
back in the day, that's like they can't remake Golden Girls; it'll never hit the same.
Nah.
They can't remake Family Matters; it'll never hit the same. So some stuff it just should be left alone. But I like the opportunity that the young generation gets to be a part of their world.
You're right. Now see, like they were mad about the Little Mermaid. You said now I'm seeing a lot of people talking about the Color Purple remake.
Now the Color Purple is a little different because it's more so the musical and not the movie.
Right.
Yeah, and it was they're very, very different. The musical is a little bit more aligned with the book and stuff like that. So I'm excited about the Color Purple.
You said so am I. It's just like, but people gonna be people. You saying
Yeah.
is because we live in a time where like now, I got access to using my phone. I got Twitter fingers. You saying I can bitch about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's a self-proclaimed critic now,
Yes. Oh,
and a lot of
critic with no credentials.
at all. It's funny. So which is like I like to use my platform to speak on issues like that. It's just like let's bring it out. Like the whole vitriol behind the Bud Light controversy. Me personally, I don't drink Bud Light anyway, so I don't have a dog in that fight, so I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, and at the end of the day, Bud Light, picked a social media influencer that blew up, sent him a case, or I mean, excuse me, her a case with her face on it just for her. Didn't put it on shelves, none of that shit. And mofos lost their mind over
Yeah.
that shit to the point where Bud Light has lost over, I think, $1 billion at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, but we're supposed to be a country, you're saying, to where you're supposed to love everybody, love thy neighbor. You said, yeah, I might not agree with your views or you saying your lifestyle or you said your outlook, but at the end of the day, okay, you obviously influencing somebody, so I don't see the big deal. You know what I mean? It's like, so why do you think people are so hypocritical when it comes to certain stances?
Uh, the United States at the end of the day, the United States was kind of based on I'm a status type situation, a racial type, a divisional type situation. Because when the Europeans left their country, they felt like they should have been. They played it on the religion aspect, but they wanted to have a place where they can kind of be their own. So when you have situations like that with Bud Light, say for instance, first of all, Bud Light didn't read the room. They're not their demographic. Like that's Bud Light is the white boys, and that's their demographic. Period. Point blank. So
Mhm.
kind of dropped the ball on that. And they saw what that was, but it's just a situation where I think, with their demographic is a little bit more, what can I say?
Frat boy.
Yeah, I mean, United States is based on racism, and racism is a part of bigotry and stuff like that. So it's just like if you're a minority, whether you're black, Mexican, LGBTQ, whatever you are, someone who feels like they can look down on you, they will. Because think about it, the white boys that drink Bud Light, they're not really rich and stuff like that. So it's like they're underneath that hierarchy of the white guys that's doing XYZ. So it's easier for them to kind of turn their nose up and put hatred out. But I will say I think that Bud Light did not read the room making that play at all.
I definitely agree, but like also, I'm not saying one that's against inclusion. You said or whatever, because like I said, the LGBTQIA plus community, you said their flag is flying strong right now. So I mean, so I don't have a problem with it. Everybody to me, it's like with comedy. You said it's like if you're in the room or if you're in society, you're going to get these jokes. Period.
Yeah.
Like I think certain people just take stuff and they get butt hurt over it. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
it's
No pun
also
intended. You know what I'm saying?
too. Intent too. It's just is are you being malicious or are you playing around? Intent matters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like because like right now, another thing that's being talked about right now is I guess Megan Rapinoe from the USA women's soccer team is I guess blasting Dave Chappelle, saying it's because of him that there's violence towards the trans community, and I'm like, knock it off,
Yeah.
knock it off. It's just like you said, when certain people say certain things, you saying like there's usually a lot of pushback, but I feel like in a lot of ways, you said you with the LGBTQ community, you cannot push back on them. You said even with counteracting, you said ideals like "Oh, I'm this way, I'm that way, blah 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 blah. But then you like, well, I don't agree with that, or that's not how I get down. And it's something as simple as that, and then like it's almost like you're like obliterated because you don't agree with their lifestyle.
Yeah,
Or
but I think the thing about that is when you voice your opinion, you're gonna have to get whatever come with it because at the end of the day, your opinion really don't matter. So I feel like when people say, "Well, oh, I don't agree with your lifestyle," or if you don't agree with it, why even comment? Like, what even just why even phase you? Like, keep it like looked up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just. I think that now social media has given everybody a voice and a platform to speak about what they don't like and what they do like, but you can't police people's reactions. That's why I kind of mind my business because it's
and
like,
you're right about it's like where I come from. You like because I'll bring up stuff like that because I'm a talker. I like that. I want to have the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because like people will say, "Well, you say I was born this way," and I'm like, "Okay." You say like, "Well, why do you feel that way?" You say because I genuinely want to know. Like, but then I do get it because there's so many people that you say are just looking for you say, looking to attack you on you saying your belief systems or you saying your or whatever whatnot. But like me, I genuinely just I like to have a conversation. Like people ask me, "Well, you saying why are you sitting there with a light up thing that says can't hear you? I'm gaming," or using an action figure. Well,
mm,
you said this is like to me, like I brought up branding. This is Little Dub. You
yeah,
saying this, you know what I'm saying? Just
yeah, I see.
branding. You know what I'm
That
saying?
I
It's like
do.
so like I can have those conversations, or like you said, why do you only like you saying black women? I'm like, well, to me, I've dated the
Why
spectrum.
that's they the top of the top right there,
You
baby.
stay the top of the top,
That's
exactly.
it.
I've dated the spectrum, but to me, I always find home. You saying with a strong black woman.
Yeah,
Period. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So like it's like some people like they take it like if you ask them a question because like my wife she used to watch this transgender woman I can't remember God I can't remember her name but people would be she would watch her lives all the time and then I'd walk in the room and I guess somebody in the comments would be like were you born a man? You'd be like fuck you bitch I'll take your man and blah blah blah. I'm like what like how you gonna take something like you or like how are you getting mad at a question? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like if somebody like if you genuinely don't know, how could you get mad at a question?
Well, not all questions need to be asked. If I feel like if some stuff is just inappropriate. If you don't really just know somebody, first of all, when it comes to that, a lot of people are being shady when they ask, "Are
Mhm.
you born a man?" You already know if the person's transgendered or whatnot, so you want to have an opportunity to misgender this person or be funny. At the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, if someone say for instance T.S. Madison, she's very very popular, well known, real respected transgender. 9 times out of 10,
Mhm.
you already know she's transgender. So why are you asking? Like, what's the purpose? What's the purpose? Like, what do you care for? Is it? I always tell people if somebody asks you something about your sexuality, you ask them if they trying to do it. That's how I feel about it because it's just like what does that have to do with anything? You should get the whole scope of who I am, my character, and what we're talking about, and my personality. What
Mhm.
go on at 3 a.m. in my crib ain't really none of your concern. I'm not asking you. I'm not putting out there, hey, let's talk about sex. Hey, I'm not. If someone's not advertising that, a lot of times people try to be funny and catty. I think it's always a way that you can handle stuff and ask questions. Me, I'm not going to just ask a random person something that personal. I'll read the room and see what's going on. I'll go through comments and kind of put two or two together or something like
Right.
that. Or
You
I
said
use the Google and see what's going on. Just to kind of, I can, I'm big on you never. I made a post the other day that you never know what people are going through. Like last year, I was diagnosed with clinical depression.
mhm.
last fall, and I didn't reveal it to anybody till like last week. But it's just, everybody was like, wow. I was like, you just never know what you're going through and stuff like that. I could remember filming for hours doing good work, and I was completely, in my mind, I was a zombie, because I was just like, why am I here? I wasn't suicidal. I'm not gonna say that, but I was like, I'm done. I'm tired. Like, I don't even want to wake up tomorrow. And it was, after going through therapy, I was diagnosed with clinical depression and an adjustment disorder. So I'm just a person that has always learned, and everybody ain't got it, but I've always been one to grant grace to people, because it's just, you just never know. Like my mom, she was a little sick growing up. She was in the military. So when I was growing up, I had to kind of raise my brothers and stuff, because she had seizure disorder. So, but people never knew that. I still went to school, still made my straight A's, still did XYZ. And that kind of just had built that whole factor of granting people grace, because sometimes just being nice will keep somebody from jumping off the edge and stuff like that. So, everybody ain't like that. I was raised like that. So it's a blessing to still be able to carry that over into adulthood. But I think everybody could just grant people just a little bit more grace, especially in these times, because shit, this gas is high. They tripling rent in the A. It's just a lot going on.
I mean, absolutely.
Bruh.
I think when, like, especially like when it comes to media, you have certain entities that will hijack using your movement. Just like when we brought up BLM, using everybody's like, yes, Black Lives Matter. It doesn't mean that only Black Lives Matter, but
Right.
then when the organization came around, they're swindling money and buying multi-million-dollar mansions
Insane.
and stuff like that. It basically takes away from the initial premise of what we were trying to say. Now, like, I think that happens with every community, just like like with the white community. You would have white people that are down for everybody, but then there'll be certain talking heads that got a little more influence, and it'll make other groups think that, okay, well, these people are racist because they got these few people in their group now. Or you see, like, even in the fashion world, it was like, well, this particular creative director or this particular model is hard to work with. You see, it's like, so how do you go about shutting down using perceptions because of outside influence?
Uh, I don't know. I've just never been one to easily be influenced by other people. I get it down to the nitty gritty on each person, and individual on that aspect. Because if you deal with somebody, you might have dealt with them when they had a bad day, or their mama might have just died, or they might have just, so your experience might be a little different than my experience. And so I kind of try to meet people in the middle and try to meet people where they're at, to kind of avoid that, and kind of get a feel for them. I'm at the point in my career where I will not take a check just to protect my peace. You get what I'm saying? Like, I ain't really, especially after dealing with my mental health and stuff like that, my peace is more important. So I fill out the situation, fill out the person. I'm a researcher. I'm a Google. I'm gonna be on LinkedIn. I'm gonna see what's going on, of course, and just kind of go with the flow, and see what's going on. I pick up on energy. I normally pray a lot for wisdom before I enter into situations, and yeah.
You say, well, like that. That's one thing I think that's awesome. Is like when people can speak their truth and the people can, say, talk about the things, like, because like now it's being more accepted to talk about mental health. So, like, as you being you said somebody that's going through it, and also an advocate, you said, for mental health, what is the first thing you want to tell somebody you said that's you could see they're struggling? What's the first step they need to take to get on the right path to getting some help?
Absolutely. I think the first step is just realizing you need help. For me, I didn't know what was wrong, but I do know that I just felt so different, and no matter what I smoked, drank, and whatnot, I still had this feeling. Mind you, I had already been in therapy for a little while, but I wasn't really, I just have therapists, and hey, check in, and I wasn't taking it serious. So once my therapist he kind of got in, was like, so what you going on? And I was in the bed for I stayed in bed for like a month straight. I went to my parents' house, and after I started, I was on an 8-month project. And after that, I was just like, ugh. And so, talking to a therapist, talking to a professional, it was kind of the first step, because I was like, bro, I feel crazy, And he explained to me, you're not crazy, and we just talked through everything, and that kind of got me into a place where I was able to say, because at first they was trying to get me on medicine. I was like, I'm not taking no medicine, I'm not. yeah, I'm black. I'm gonna be on the. They're gonna say I'm crazy. The police, I just had this stigma of what would be, what I would be perceived as. So, having a therapist kind of really, really helped. And I will say this: I am currently right now. I am actually working on producing a documentary called. The name of it is Fade, and it's about black men and cutting the stigma on mental health. So it's going to pull in together resources and everything that us as black men can do to kind of help strengthen our mental health and get everybody on board. Because I would tell anybody this: I'm on antidepressants, so me having a therapist and starting to take the medicine, I feel like I can kind of conquer the world. And the depression is more so a mood type situation. Like the depression was more so I didn't feel like it was like a tiredness and I couldn't laugh. I wasn't sad, but it was just I felt so indifferent about living. And you know me personally, I'm crunk. I turned up. That's not me. I be out and about. So just realizing that something was wrong and I need to fix it because I want to be here. I want to be my best version of me. I got more life to live. I got Oscars to try to chase. I got
That's right.
I got a VMA I want to get and stuff like that. So it's just having somebody to talk to. But I will say that as black men, we don't have as many resources out there that people know about, but there are some out there. I have a ton of great black mental health male professionals that's on board for this project that's going to help get some resources out and kind of just do this for the culture and do this for us.
Okay, you said like I'm gonna ask you a personal question. You said like, and maybe you can help me with it. You said, I'm not gonna mention his name, but you said a friend of mine. You said he's been really, really going through it these past couple of months. He said he's lost like 3 or 4 people back to back. You know, saying like including his brother and his grandmother. It was like, and he's also using a counselor and using a mental health using therapist and stuff like that. But he's there for everybody else. But as my friend, I want to be there for him. You know, so like, what is something that I could do or that people could do when you got somebody close to you that's really, really going through it, and you just trying to be there for them, but just like because you can say all the words in the world, but it's like nothing's ever going to take away that particular kind of pain. So like in the specific situation, I mean, how can I be a better friend to console my friend when he's going through his stuff?
Yeah, yeah. Man, I can't say for me. I will say this: my journey. I've lost 1 or 2 friends because they couldn't understand the cope. 'Cause I didn't know what I had going on and stuff like that. And so that's the unfortunate thing. But now the people who being transparent to the people who I truly love about what's going on, they've helped me with checking in. Just hey, what's up? What's good? Even I got a friend that say, just let you know you important. Just little stuff like that, letting them know letting you that sometimes I don't even feel like talking, but just a little message or how you doing or you're valuable and stuff like that kind of helps with that self-esteem and stuff like that. For me, I feel like especially for me, I have 2 to 3 nephews and a niece. Like though that's kind of my purpose and my reason, and I kind of realized that. So I've gotten kind of for myself, I gotten kind of closer with them. And one of my nephews, I'm his godfather and stuff like that. So it's just letting people know, genuinely letting people know. I know if you don't even want to talk. Like I got a friend, we don't even talk. He'll just come and sit, or a homegirl just come and sit and just be in my presence and stuff like that and keep it moving. So just I don't think there's no such thing as, oh, well, let me give them their space. No, fucking harass and check on your friend. Let them know that I don't care about you not in the mood. I'm here, even if we don't talk. But just that reassurance that knowing somebody care, it goes a long, long way.
Right. It's like, and you brought up the stigma of using black people, especially black men. You said yes, we're in a safer time to where you can speak on you saying like you're dealing with mental health issues, but you still got that hardcore woman side who's like, oh, if a man expresses himself, he's weak.
Yeah,
You're asking for that, but then when you get it, you're calling it weak.
yeah.
You saying like,
Well, my thing, you can't deal with people who have that mindset. I mean, just
I mean, that's absolutely true.
want to change their mind. If that's how they feel, they've been felt like that. They'll always feel like that. That's not for you. That you one would be kind of foolish to be associated with someone who feels that you can't express yourself. That's probably the reason you over the situation now and stuff like that.
Right.
I just and this is why until recently I've been very, I've been kind of hushed about my mental journey, but recently I just kind of was like, let me express what's going on. And ever since then, I've had so many people ask me for resources and saying, even Black women say, I'm glad you said so, because me and y'all hold so much on. And man, just being able to talk about it freely, it's just, you cats will go out and jog and play basketball and lift weights. Your mind got to be worked out. You got to work your mind. Mental health is a real thing. You can't just go. I'm 38. Just think about 38 years of stuff I've gone through, how that's word and tore on my mind. And I use my brain for work. I'm a creative director, writer. So yeah, I got to kind of get balanced, and it's okay with doing that. And if somebody ain't with it, they ain't for you, period.
I mean, absolutely. It's like, but it goes back to what I said earlier about you have certain minorities that have a bigger voice that basically will sit there and say that, and then it was like, oh well, all women think I'm this, or all men think I'm this, or I'm angry, and you saying and this, that, and the third, but you said like, but you're not doing the research that you said to dive deeper into or find that particular core group of people that you can get support from. You're listening to outside sources instead of doing the research, and you said like that's
Correct.
one thing that irritates the shit out of me is that nobody wants to do their research. They look at the headline and they think that's law. You're like, dude, there is a 15 paragraphs in this whole article, but you're listening to the headline. You know what I'm saying? So like, I guess to me, to my audience, and to use anybody that's affiliated with you, like look past the headline.
Yeah,
Get to the meat and potatoes.
absolutely. Everybody has somebody close to them that's battling depression, whether they know it or not. Or they're battling something that, all of us are battling shit that we'll never even speak on, to be clear. With that being said, I just feel like granting grace to people and just checking in on your people. I mean, even, I got one friend, he went through a depression. He used to be, irritable. I ain't getting no fuck. I'm popping up. I'm checking on you. I'm letting you know, I'm here. I'm letting you know you still have life to live. You're important. And that means a lot to people and stuff like that. They feel like, okay, well, I got such and such want me to see another day or want me to get through stuff like that.
Absolutely. Okay. Now you say, since you're a creative, and there's people are popping up on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and Snapchat, all kinds of stuff every day. Now, what's something that you think a person should definitely do if they're trying to enter themselves into a social media space? Whether it comes to branding or whether it comes to making your content your own. You said like, what are some things you would suggest to people getting into this social media space?
Man, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm not the biggest social media person, honestly. But I really be on social media because I do visuals, so I need to showcase it. But I will say that consistency, being consistent, will help your brand, because if people expect that every week you're going to do this, or you have a consistent thing, then that's how you get your following. They'll be checking for you. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the biggest thing is consistency. I think collaboration is key. I think when you collaborate, that opens you to other audiences, other groups of people, and other ideas and stuff. So the 2 C's, collaboration and consistency.
I like that. Use it, the 2 C's. We're gonna have to incorporate that. But saying like what is your go-to social media site? The Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook? What's your favorite right now?
Well, I'm on Instagram, but my Facebook page gets more traction. Because I follow a lot more people who know me longer, so they've gotten to see people from back home. But Instagram, I mean, I'm only on Instagram and Facebook. I try to do TikTok, I try to do Snapchat, and it's just a little overwhelming for me to an extent. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, one thing that's funny to me is like I'm on TikTok. You saying that guy Dub? You saying follow me on everything? You saying yeah. But it was fun. Like my biggest video on TikTok was just a random video. It was like you remember when the woman recorded her baby daddy and he only brought McDonald's for the one child?
Absolutely.
Well, I was like, everybody's talking about this. Well, you know how I feel about it. Fuck them kids. And 50,000 views like in a day. And I was like, whoa.
It's
like, where does it sit with you? How like so much like a lot of times like if somebody's doing something positive, it gets no traction. But if somebody's saying, like I said, fuck them kids, or something negative, it explodes. You just like,
well, misery loves company. So, and most people are miserable. And the thing is about the good stuff, people who do things good, they could care less about views or people love like it at XYZ. You know, their reward is just doing their deed.
Mhm.
But I mean, we're in the world where people love chaos. People love look at the news. People they don't like they like the school shootings get more views than the person down the street who helped rescue somebody out their house and stuff like that. So it's just a misery loves company situation. That's all that is.
It's one of those things like it's just crazy because like I've been looking at a lot of stories in the news, and it's just like one thing that really bothered me was this that young lady out of you said New Mexico that put her baby in the trash can,
Oh yeah.
and then they took 4 months to arrest her, and this little girl was at prom and everything, and I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's like I know just because we got social media, because we got all the kind of stuff you saying that distracts us from everything else.
Desensitizes everything.
Yeah, but you said I brought that up is because parents, you need to follow the signs. If you see something off about your children, then investigate it. Like to me, how could you, as a mother, not know that your child was pregnant?
Yeah. Facts.
Like, are you that
But
checked out?
well, you know, we're in a world where the parents. Hold on, real quick.
Okay,
Um, I'm in training. I'm sorry about that.
oh,
I
you're good.
got a venue. I'm doing an event here next month. Well, Labor Day weekend. No, so the parents are tablet parents, child. They give you the tablets. They don't talk to them. They let the tablet raise them, and we come from the generation where you was outside, so you knew somebody was pregnant because you out. You know what I'm saying? You would catch if somebody pregnant. If your
Mhm,
child just got these tablets in their room, you might not know. But in our day, when you outside all summer till the street lights come on, and we didn't have internet like that, so you had to be kind of active.
mhm,
And your parents can tell. You have a better visual of what your child going on because they're outside and they got XYZ going on. Nowadays, you can sit a child down and keep it moving.
mhm. It was just like now I brought that up using because we all know it's a tragic, horrible story. But like I said, I brought that up just like because, like I said, I'm a parent. I have 5 children. You know what I'm saying? Pray for me because 4 of my children are daughters, so
Oh,
it's all
wow.
bad.
Yeah.
But and I try to you saying my kids will tell if like you ask my kids right now, it's like if Pop says something, you said Pops already knows because you're moving different.
Hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, whatever I think in my head that you're doing, 9 times out of 10, you're doing. Because like I said, I like you mentioned earlier about reading the room. It was just like so. Me personally, I'm gonna tell you, all you parents out there watching, read the room, especially when it comes to your children, because they're getting into so much stuff. Yes, you're giving them these phones and these tablets and things like that, but you said we're in a different day and age. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not about the white van no more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's
It's about to
we,
come meet me here.
exactly. You so like, what would you say to parents? You said like when it comes to, especially in the times we're in, you said talking to their children.
Man, for me, I really can't say because I'm not a parent. I know with my nephews and stuff like that. When I have my nephews and nieces, I'm kind of I monitor what they're doing, but I'm one of those. I'm the cool uncle that we're gonna be outside.
Mm,
we're gonna watch movies. I'm a director, so I explain to them how movies work. So they're all into movies and TV and stuff. And I think just being more present and not relying on just technology, working on social skills, working on you don't know if kids are on chatting with people online, they don't know how to pick up vibes or what things to look for because you could be talking to someone you think is 12 is a whole 55-year-old perv and stuff like that. So it's just kind of just making kids aware of making them aware of stuff. And unfortunately, you got to kind of do it a little earlier than you had to when we was coming up because we didn't have. I didn't grow up with it. We didn't get internet till I was like 8th grade or 9th grade or something like
yeah, something like that. You said we
that.
had AOL. You said you
I
get
was like a
them
dial up.
dial up CDs.
So it's just we just in a time where technology is so rapid and advanced, and it's parents' job and duty to kind of keep up with it to an extent, especially if you're introducing your child to technology.
Absolutely, absolutely. You saying well, that was super dope. This has been an amazing interview. So before we get out of here, I want you to give everybody your socials, how they can get in contact with you.
Absolutely. Everybody, y'all can check me out on Instagram, Bernard Love 2.0. That's Bernard Love 2.0. Facebook, Bernard Love. My company is Creative Perp. You can catch Creative Perp on Instagram. Also visit creativeperp.com. That's creativeperp.com. I got a lot of stuff coming out. Watch out for the Fade Project, my docu-series. I'm co-producing with Dante Brown from Washington, D.C. about Black men and cutting the stigma on mental health. And other than that, God is good all the time, and check me out.
You saying, with all that being said, without further ado, if you guys like this video, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, turn on that bell notification so you don't miss another video. I love you. Lil Dub loves you. Bernard loves
Man,
you. We out here.
I appreciate you for having me on.
Not a problem, my brother. We got to do this again, man. Because like I said, we got to use it. Like breaking the stigma of mental health, especially with our Black men, is something that's very important to me. So we definitely got to, you should keep passing this torch.
We're going to start casting for some people to be a part of the series. So maybe in like a month or two, I'll hop back on and put some information out.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you once again, my brother. Like I said, keep doing it. I support you. And I appreciate you jumping on my platform.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
Peace.
Okay.
All right.
The boy Dub Deuce in the building.